Welcome to Small Eyes Big Dreams Season 3 episode. I don't know.
8 or 7 or 6 or
Six,
9.
nine. Nine. I think nine. I guess
Yes. I think it's 8
I think
though. All
it's
right.
nine too. Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
So what's the question of the day? What's the question of the
The
day,
question
John?
of the day is who do you sometimes compare yourself to?
Okay. So if I start off, mine is very light. Okay. There's a musician called Boy with Uke. And
Yes,
he's also
yes.
Korean. He's also Korean, so I like his music. So I see him, and I don't think him and I are so apart in age. So I would just keep on, watching his videos and trying to improvise what he does on YouTube. Not like music style wise, but like, advertisement wise and like
Yeah.
promoting wise. So I always compare myself with Boy with Uke. Yep.
Okay,
Interesting.
Interesting.
interesting. So for you, it's someone you don't know. It's more a musician.
I know he doesn't know me.
No, no, like you guys.
Yes.
How about you?
For me, I compare myself to you, actually, Johnny.
Wow. Wow.
What
Wow.
joke? So no, because I only text some people sometimes. So it's like the people I usually text w- would be like you, John. So like sometimes like before like I even know it, I'm like, oh, have you done this for college? Oh, have you done this for your academics? So it's like a kind of comparative process. And then like at the start of this summer, when you told me that you were gonna start doing like a schedule, like you
Yeah.
planned out your days meticulously and then like you blocked out certain times for studying. I was like, dang, that's so cool. So I tried that for a bit, like around 2 weeks. And then after 2 weeks, I, I didn't really like it. And I switched back just to my old format. But yeah, for me, I compare with Johnny. And then, um, yeah, compare with Johnny usually.
Nice.
No. I see. I see.
Thank you. Thank you. Um. huh.
John, you gotta say ding though.
No, no.
Who do I compare myself? I don't. Hmm. Huh. It's a tough question. I don't. I compare myself with myself. But no, that's a very cliche answer. Um. Huh. Huh. Hmm.
What series of ahs and ums?
Yeah, I don't
Fuck.
really know. I don't.
Yeah, then you just don't compare. Then you just don't
Then you
compare.
just don't compare yourself with
Then you
it.
just don't compare.
Maybe I don't. Yeah. Maybe I don't. I just don't think that much about other people. But
That's what I do too. It's not me. Like I don't think about like those people. I just don't think at all. In
yeah,
first place,
they just don't come
No,
into my mind.
I don't really think in first place. So that's why I really don't have a lot of people to compare myself
yeah.
with. But I do enjoy Yuke because I love his music. His
For
music's my
me, for me, it's not so much like comparing, like personality or like more intrinsic things. It's more like comparing in terms of work. Because one bad habit that I developed, like with the IB diploma, like taking the IB diploma, was I'd always compare myself with my peers.
Right.
It's not a healthy habit, I think, because it's like you're constantly like searching for a way to compare yourself. Oh, predicted grades. Oh, like how much work have you done? Blah 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 blah. And like it's something you need to fix now, I think, because it's like in your professional life, like imagine you're working and then your coworkers and you are having a nice night out, a nice
Right.
dinner, and then you spend the entire time comparing yourself to them. It's like, dang, this person's annoying. So
Mm,
yeah, I think it's something actually the IB diploma will teach you with because
Mm.
that's very competitive. So you have to learn how to, you know,
I think you compare yourself with your peers because that's part, that's the characteristic that you want to be good at, like studying, going to a good college. Because for me, I don't really mind. Because I don't mind going to a good college or getting good grades. So if I lack, I don't care. If I exceed, I don't care. So, but in music wise, I want to do good. So yeah, I think that's the point. Like you compare yourself
Right.
in areas that you want to improve on, you want to be
Yeah.
good at, in
Yes.
areas that you care.
Um,
Yeah.
that's why I don't really compare myself, but then I just kind of get motivation when I just hear about random people who did kind of successful in life, right? Like in YouTube, there's so many, and then I just try to learn their path, how they went to that to that destination. I try to learn what degree they had in their university or how what they did in MBA, like blah blah blah. And then I kind of get, inspired by that. Like, oh, maybe I could go with that route. But then most of the time, the thing I learn in common is like it's so random. Everyone's life is so random there. Like
Yes.
that's why I just kind of get motivated to a certain point, but then after that it's like because I know it's my life is also going to be so random, so there's no point
Yeah.
of you know
Life is like a chocolate box. You don't know what you can.
Yeah, like that. I
yes,
think
yes, yes.
I also think life's so random, but I mean this goes back to our conversation about role models. It's like can you
Right.
really can you really have the epitomizing role model like in your life that you look up to in every aspect? Because maybe the person just got lucky, man. Maybe like they won the lottery, they accidentally invested in a in Apple, and then they got rich, and then now they're making a YouTube video on their path to success. I mean, are you really like how are you gonna how are you gonna make that pertain to your life, right?
I mean, not even in those cases, just, even though you think that person succeeded most likely because of his effort, he would have had a lot of luck to succeed.
Yeah.
Like any area, if you want to succeed, you need some sort of luck.
Yeah,
Right,
that
right.
I don't think that's to say that effort's not
Effort is where you start. Like if you don't have effort, you won't be able to sustain. Like you won't be able to sustain, even though you like get a big lottery. You win a big lottery, but like you're a bad guy in general. Then like I don't know, you're gonna lose all the money. So if you want to sustain, and if somebody's sustaining the same level of like wealthiness, then I think he is giving somewhat of effort at least because that's the start. Like in order to conceive luck, you need to be giving a lot of effort in the first place.
Mm-mm.
yeah.
But what people misunderstand is like they think they're gonna succeed if they work hard, while that's where you just start.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
I think we covered this as well in the past episode. It's like one of my ideas is working hard. Working hard won't make you successful. It'll only make you in a better place than where you were before. So, I don't know. Like, you could work hard for a test. I mean, we always use the example of tests. I'm trying to think of a better
Mm-mm.
example. Maybe I'll come up with one once I'm not a student. But like you could work super hard for your like midterm exam, and then you could you could flunk it, but that doesn't mean that
Mm-mm.
you're not in a better place. You are in a better place. It's just maybe you got unlucky as well. Maybe that was your unlucky day too. I mean, there's so many factors to consider.
I mean, test honestly is something that is kind of manageable
Yeah,
compared to what you're gonna
Yeah.
confront later on. Because
that's
like
true.
if you work hard, you're not gonna get a 50 if you really work hard. But in social life, you can get a negative. Okay, you work your ass off and you can still lose money. It's
Mm-mm.
not like you're gonna get money on it. So it's like the I think the degree is different. Like, because
Yeah.
in test students, it's some sort of you could have like bad luck, but you will still get like somewhat. But if you confront like this kind of situation in society, like when you become an adult and all that,
Yes.
then
Mm-mm.
you can really lose money. Then sometimes people just flop like that because like it's too hard.
That's also why I think school is so disconnected from real life in some sense. But what I like about school is that it's a safe environment to fail. That's in
Yeah.
my definition of school. School is a safe environment to fail. Alright. Yeah. School is a safe environment to fail because it's like in real life it's probably much more harsh. Let's say if you're trying to decide uh whether or not to invest in something, I guess. And like because this was one of the key concepts I learned from just reading simple investment books. It was that, for example, let's say this stock has hypothetically a 70% chance of giving you yields and a 30% chance of it failing. Okay, sure. But let's say you invest in that 70%. Let's say you invest because it's the quote unquote more likely favorable choice. But what if the 30% wins out and you lose all your money? Does that mean you made a bad financial decision? I don't think you can categorize it as that. But like, if you're looking at someone else's story, if you're looking at someone else's success story too, like on YouTube, or you're comparing yourself to them, like you're only ever gonna see the 70%. You're only ever gonna see the people who also technically got lucky. What about the other 30% who maybe did all the right things, but in the end they just got unlucky? Like how do we categorize that?
I think that's why high school is. I think it's the best time to do anything because you almost have like no risk. It's so low. Like let's say you want to be a YouTuber and you're in high school. You can just start YouTube and if it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. But if you're an adult, 25, 26, trying to do some YouTube, that's big risk.
Yeah.
Because like
Bigger.
yeah, and like if you want to be a YouTuber, you gotta do this and that all the time that you could spend doing something else and get money, you know. So yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think. High school is the best place to play around with.
Yeah. Like your playground.
Yes,
Yes.
it's like your playground.
Yeah, well, what are your thoughts on that, Johnny? I mean, we've read the same book, so.
What books were you talking about?
Oh, this I mean, I've only read a few financial books. This one's from Psychology of Money.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I don't remember. To be honest.
You don't. I don't remember honestly. It's just a few main takeaways. Because right now, Johnny and I have been reading, or I don't know, Johnny. You'd categorize it as more like, I guess, life, technically life, or philosophical books. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but yeah. So I was telling Steve, Johnny, actually, I was telling Steve about the recent book we both read.
Right. Yeah, I want to talk about that a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How could you could you tell me what part you were emotional
Yeah,
to?
the whole part. Yeah, so he said there was a guy who worked really hard, went to Stanford, and did
Right.
all his courses, like medical doctor courses, and he was about to be a doctor or a professor, and he was at age of 30s, and never did a single smoke, and got a 4th-degree lung cancer,
Right.
which means you're most likely gonna die
Yeah.
soon. So, yeah. And when I heard about that story, what I thought of is Steve Jobs.
Of course, of course.
Because he talks about this at his Stanford speech. How,
Really.
yeah, how life is so short and you don't know when it's going to end. So he goes up to his own mirror and asks himself, would you live like this if this is the last day of your life? And if there's like consecutive no's for like 3 days or 4 days, he knew that he needed some change. So he was living his life every day like his last day. So he was enjoying what he was, and that's why his life is so great. And of course, results were great too. Luckily, um, and so I've been doing that for quite a while because I'm doing music and I love doing music, and I think I will still do music even though I die tomorrow. So I when I heard about that book, I'm like, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing, baby.
You know,
Yeah.
interestingly, yeah, Ding, when after or in the midst of reading that book, he asked, yeah, he gave a text to me about, do we really live life as, as if it's the last day, or should we really live like that? It's like contrary to what you just said. And
Mm.
yeah, if Ding could, add on to why you said that and stuff after reading
Oh,
the book.
yeah. Because I think his name was Paul Kalanithi. Yeah,
Yep, yep.
Kalanithi. So Paul basically was saying that because he was a neurosurgeon,
Right.
but Paul also wanted to be a writer.
Yeah.
He finished with a degree in philosophy, and and literature, I think.
Yeah.
And so when the doctor told him about his diagnoses and like they weren't clear on his prognoses, like how long he could live, like all of his identities were shifting around. In his mind, he was like, "Oh well, if I had a few years, I'd go back to neurosurgery.
Right.
If I had a day or two to live, I'd spend time with my family. I'd be a husband. If I had a few months, if I had like maybe a few months to live, maybe I'd start being a writer again." So all of these thoughts were rolling in his head, and I was thinking like, if we really have one day to spend, if we have if we know it's our last day on earth, what would we be doing? Would Johnny and I be working our butts off in IB studying, like researching tons of college and university? Or would we spend that time with our friends and family or doing something like this podcast? Because it's like right now our goals are under the presupposition that we're going to be in 20 years we're going to still be alive. What if we knew in 20 years we weren't going to be alive? What would we be doing right now, right? It's it goes under this. That's why I texted Johnny. I was like, are we really living day by day? Are we living forthrightly and like,
So that's the dilemma.
Yeah.
To
Right.
live as a life on Earth, it's too risky. Then what if you do 50-50? You use 50 of your time expecting that you're gonna die in 5 days, and use 50 of your time expecting that you're gonna live in 50 years.
it's actually very smart. I actually never thought.
Right? 'Cause, like you can go portions.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Just yeah.
like if you like don't study at all because like this is the last day, that don't work. So you use 50 of your time on doing that. And other 50, you live like it's your last day. So even though you die the next day, you're like, I at least spent my 50.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
motivate you to do
I
many
think
stuff.
that's a good approach. I actually
Right.
think that's a good approach. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
yeah,
we
yeah.
do that sometimes, but sometimes honestly for me it becomes 80-20 or even 90-10, and I have to stop myself. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is a very good advice, I would say, because yeah, it motivates you to even though you're resting, right? Even though you're just resting because you're tired with your work, like it motivates you to do something else, something more meaningful than just going through Instagram or YouTube. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, that's a really nice. I don't know what to say.
You guys seem so surprised because
No,
and you guys
no.
look at this dummy dumb Steve saying something. I don't know.
Wow. Right, right.
Because, you know, I don't think that much when I do something. I just do it if I'm new.
That's why I said every person needs a friend like Steve, because sometimes you think too much about life. You
Yeah.
need people
So
who
I just go simple.
you need people who just live in the moment, like straight
Mm.
up.
Yeah.
Actually, a while ago, I was super burnt out from studying and researching college, and you know that feeling when you just want to keep working, or you don't want to take a break because, um, you feel like you're being behind. Maybe that's just my own symptoms, but I often find myself in those types of situations, and the hardest thing for me to do is to take an actual break. Like maybe I will close my laptop and scroll Instagram, as you said, Johnny.
Right.
I don't consider that an actual break. So what I did was I started brewing tea, and I called up Steve on Discord, and I was like, "You want to go for a walk?" And then the second half of my day basically was just spent with Steve, and then I also ate dinner here. I did my work here because that for me helped me like focus more and also de-stress more. And now we're doing the podcast here.
Right.
So I think that every person needs people in their life to help them de-stress and to help them reach that 50-50.
Because I mean, once one point of my life, I was like 100-0. I was always working, like not joking. I'm not even exaggerating. I worked like 12 to 13 hours a day, and I was so stressed. But I just did it. I minimized my breaks. I didn't take any breaks really, except for lunch and dinner. I didn't even eat breakfast because I want to study instead of eating breakfast. So at that time, I did that for like 2 months straight, and then I took a long break for 7 months because
Right.
at that mental breakdown after 2 months, you just question the universe. You're like, why am I here though? What
Right.
am I doing? And then so I think it's just yeah, like how Ding does, like you gotta balance it out so you don't flop for 7 months. That's worse. Like you're behind even though you're stressed. Like what is that? Because like during that 7 months, it's not like you're so happy because you're taking a break. It's just like your mind has to take a break, and then you're just so stressed because
Yeah.
at the time you're taking a break, you're still stressed because they're going ahead of you.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
ah, ah, and then you're like, ah, ah. And so what I did was I just gave up. I was like, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Steve's story is actually really cool because right now, like I think when he first came into Brent, he just wanted to do nothing with work, and why I found it sort of inspirational now is he spends. Maybe you don't categorize it as work, Steve, but it's still doing something and it's still trying to reach your goals. Like right now, Steve has a goal of reaching 1,000 listeners or subscribers.
Subscribers, listener,
Yeah.
followers.
Yeah.
He has a goal of reaching 1,000 listeners or subscribers on his YouTube channel or on his SoundCloud, and he's working a lot and releasing a lot of new tracks as well.
Yeah.
And actually, Johnny and I have given input on that. Some of Steve's tracks are, we didn't like as much, but recently the 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 recent two releases were really nice. So yeah,
Yeah.
if you want
You know
to
the second
feature-
one, I didn't release it yet.
Oh yeah, the second one not released yet, but by the time this podcast will be aired, it's probably. Did you
Yeah.
guys know our podcast like posts like a month or two?
I
Didn't
know,
know.
dude. I don't know, dude.
But like, if I categorize as work though, because I was actually curious how much I do music a day. I wake up at like 11:30, and go through my phone to listen to music that I made yesterday, because it sounds different. Like the when you make it and listen to it later on, it sounds different. So I just do that for like an hour, go through my Instagram, see the DMs, I don't know, that I sent to some people, and just Gmail, and then like 12:30, that's when I start doing some music, and then I do till like 6
PM.
and take a break. Yeah, 6 p.m. and I
Just
take a
keep doing
break.
it.
Yeah, I just keep doing it, and then like 6 p.m. I take a break for like, I don't know, hour, and then since 7 till like sometimes 11:30, sometimes 12. That's when I would do. So I actually do. If I categorize this as work, I do work a lot, but like I don't think it's a work
Yeah,
because
just
it's what I
fun.
do. Yeah, because I'm having fun. So
It's
Right.
like our. We've probably spent like over 100 hours on this podcast.
mm-mm.
Probably more, like 200 hours. it's not work. It's just something we like to
Yeah.
do. So, it depends how you categorize.
So that's why I think you got to do something that you like, because the of no diligence, if I go study, like I probably go to sleep after like 20 minutes. But if you do what you like, what people would say, you're doing so hard. You're like, how are you grinding all the time? While you're just playing, you're just doing what you want to do.
Right,
Yeah.
You
right,
know,
right.
well, like you're getting two birds with one stone.
Yeah. Also,
Two.
as listeners, as exclusive listeners of Steve's music. It's fun to also listen and then see like the progress of how things change actually
It's
of
because
his
you guys are the
music.
first ones. You
Yeah.
guys are the first ones
Right,
who listen
right.
to this one out.
And
Yes.
also earlier today, I was scrolling through Instagram. I saw like a post of someone, I forgot. It was maybe Picasso, not sure. And he had a quote of like, I can't recall it, but it's something like, there's always inspiration, but then you have to go find it. And then the first
Yeah.
person I thought of was Steve, cause
Was the
right, cause we talked about inspirations before, and we asked Steve before if how he gets inspired, but then you said you just fool around and sometimes it just comes to your mind, but then it kind of contradicts that, right? It's Picasso or somebody says, you have to find it for yourselves. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the first thing that came into my mind, and it was like, maybe Steve should start,
finding?
finding. Yeah.
Like, you know, that is finding in some way. Because like, if the thing is this, if you're stuck into something, you rely on something so much. Like let's say, because especially music, the concept is so vague. You don't know when you're working and when you're not. Like if you're listening to a new music, are you working? Because like if you produce your song, at some point you gotta stop.
Right.
Because once you get used to the music, that's even something really bad sounds really great. So you take like, you know, forced 5 minute break, listening to something else. Is that work? Like you have to listen to something even though you don't want to. Does that work? I don't know. And like you come back and then you try to do something and it doesn't work. Then like you just stay and you just do this. You're just like you're just thinking. Is this work? We're just having random thoughts. I don't know. They might be finding, they might be my way of finding.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just even like trying to think is kind of work.
Mm.
Sometimes I just take a break and shower because the shower thoughts, right? You just doing your stuff, and I think about my projects, and then later on I think the different ways I can do it and good ideas I have in mind. Yeah, so still thinking. So even though I'm kind of resting, showering, I'm still working. Yeah, as you said. Yeah.
Like, I don't think, I, for me, honestly, for people who just don't like study and like do something else like this or like do art, um, you are always seeking for inspiration, like all the time, even though you don't try.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Right.
so what Picasso is saying is, I think that's just like, it's a phrase that people look up to because it's Picasso. It's like something obvious. Like you always find for inspirations, you know?
Yeah.
But
Mm,
because like if you put Picasso in this context, you can find everything as inspiration. This podcast, flying
right.
birds,
Right. Right. Right.
the
Yeah.
ceiling, floor. Why is this floor so rock? I don't know, man. This chair, green, like what is this? Harmonized, like I don't know.
Yeah.
But at some point, it's just too much. That's why you wait for it because you feel it when you actually have one.
It's just more natural, I
Right.
guess. And
Right.
yeah, I think
So the conclusion is Picasso is a dummy dumb.
Oh my.
that's supposed to
Can't say
dang.
that.
I see that.
But
It's
Picasso is a great, great painter.
yeah.
But he's a real dummy dumb, actually, because
Dummy dumb. Yeah.
because if you see his arts, you know, it's great. He made a new style, but sometimes I don't think he can even explain his own art.
Yeah,
You know,
that's the thing.
so like that's the point of, because sometimes the audience explains it for you,
No,
Right.
but look,
right?
like this goes back to our question a while ago as well. Is Picasso like? Do you take advice and inspiration from him because he worked his butt off and he was a very talented artist, or is some of that also luck? Like, was he blessed with amazing
Mm.
talent? Is our perception of said talent
Luck
like
is
this way, and then he got lucky because we liked it? Like, look,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
something as subjective as art. Maybe that's a better way to compare it with
he
life.
definitely was lucky, because
Yeah,
Van Gogh,
That's
he
it.
right now people say he's one of the best painters.
yeah,
But when he was alive, when he was actually alive and drawing stuff, nobody cared.
yeah,
Nobody.
yeah.
So
So there is a component of luck there. So
Yeah.
you know what? We should just do a whole episode on luck. I feel like we
mm,
should just do a whole episode on luck. It because I feel like it's a perennial topic we always go back to in every single podcast. It's always, oh, these working hard and all these factors considered. Oh yeah, but there's luck. It's like, dang man, that's
Yeah.
and sometimes that's what makes you depressed, because even I do this all hard work. If I'm not lucky, I don't make it.
no,
Even though I don't
no.
work, if I'm lucky, I might make it. You know, but I think that's also a reason why you got to do something that you like.
Oh,
Because like,
You never
if you
know.
do some if you do something that you like, it doesn't matter if you're lucky or not. You're doing what you want to do.
honestly though, but I actually don't agree.
Oh,
I feel like uh even if like it's meaningless, or like, you know like you're working so hard but you're not lucky, it's okay. Like, because from a pure existential perspective, and from my own Christian perspective as well, um I recommend anyone who's interested in like learning more about meaninglessness to read Ecclesiastes, because Ecclesiastes is part of the wisdom. It's part of the wisdom chronicles, or books. There are three wisdom books. So it's Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and another one. Yeah, another one. But I don't sound credible anymore. But Ecclesiastes is basically, it's basically like a cynical critic about the world. A big theme of Ecclesiastes is that it's meaningless. So he talked about, Ecclesiastes talked mainly about a teacher. This teacher was, he wasn't named, but the teacher talked a lot about, like, for example, if you lived a life filled with chasing pleasure, like at the end of the day, it's all meaninglessness, because like eventually you're gonna die. No one's gonna remember you. Every earthly thing you did was for nothing, and that's also the same with work. Like you're gonna work your butt off, but he said that in a few years no one will remember you. So what's the point? And it lays out the foundation for a lot of even existential thinking in my point of view, because it's like he presents the life as meaninglessness. But Ecclesiastes also talks about how we can find meaning in God, and how we can, how we can face that meaninglessness. He said we can keep faith despite the meaninglessness. And then I know that John is very interested in existential perspective. So a big existential perspective, and by the way, existentialism's not strictly religious. It's more a
Yeah.
branch of philosophy. But their perspective is also like that. They say life is meaningless, so the most we can do is
Make your own meaning.
make our own meaning. Yeah.
mm-mm.
If you think about the story of Sisyphus or
Yeah.
whatever, right, John?
Yeah.
So yeah. So I disagree. I think even if something's meaningless, one must imagine Sisyphus
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, yeah.
You want to explain that quote?
No,
So
we already talked
like
about it.
you hope and you do imagine and you go for your success and you think that that's gonna happen, so you can actually work hard, right? No.
It's more like even if the outcome's not good,
Mm.
you just continue. You make meaning out of it because
Mm.
in the end, no one really knows. We're all
Yeah.
floating around in space.
Right.
That's
Right,
potential.
Um.
right. So
uh,
that's my point. That's why I say we gotta do something that we like. Because if you do something you like, you don't know. You might succeed, you might not. If you do something you don't like, you might succeed, you might fail.
No, but
Yeah.
the thing with existentialism, this belief thought is that even if you're doing something you dislike, even if you're suffering, you still have to find meaning out of it. Yeah,
Oh,
that's my take on your.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that was a real quick, but okay.
it was real quick.
What you call that? No, Ding also sent me. He. We have a folder in Instagram, right? About called philosophy or something or something.
Yes.
I forgot. And then he added a post, and then it was like success, 5% brain, and then 95% consistency. And that also, I just thought of that right now as you guys talked about it because, you just keep doing it, even though you think, even though at the time it might fail, you just keep doing it. That's what makes you successful, I guess. Just keep the consistency, and yeah, maybe that's the way.
And you know who failed that? And you know who failed that?
Steve Jobs.
No. Okay.
Steve Jobs.
No, no. I was trying to say Van Gogh.
Oh,
Consistency.
Yes, he definitely failed because no one was looking for his art, so
It
he
was
actually
really
gave
unlucky.
not in the paintings, but he gave up on his life.
Oh,
You know, yeah, we were trying to
He
watch the movie.
killed himself eventually. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
he wasn't consistent and he didn't have enough faith in himself.
Mm,
Sometimes you just gotta have faith in yourself. But
maybe.
he didn't have one. So, if Picasso did that work till like 70s and 80s, he probably would have been successful when he was alive.
yeah, when he was alive. But
Yeah, because people eventually will recognize.
yeah, and I think it has a luck component too. If you're consistent,
Right.
something will work out, right?
Mhm.
Something in the universe will work out. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm a star painter, but maybe you'll
Mm-mm-mm.
meet the love of your life.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a pretty good, not bad talk today.
What?
What I mean, I thought just who knows is such a good phrase, because
Yeah.
you can say who knows in every time. Like, hey, like if teacher asks, you didn't study, I'm gonna look out. Like, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows if I'm gonna good?
It's
Who knows?
it's kind of like Johnny's
Let's
go
see.
to.
Let's see.
Actually,
It is a
I
pretty
might
good
be
quote.
Huh?
It is a pretty good quote.
Right?
Think about
actually,
it.
I'm a stalker for.
Let's
I'm not a stalker, but
Actually, he's right. Let's see is a good phrase.
It's the
Let's see.
optimistic. It's the optimistic phrase.
it's no. I was scrolling through my follow list on Spotify, right?
Right?
I clicked and I clicked on Daniela's profile, and one of her playlists is "Let's See."
Really?
It's titled "Let's See."
100. You know what? 100%
Really?
is.
It's like
Swear, because
I was-
when I'm with Johnny, he says like let's see like
Yeah.
7
He's like,
times
let's-
every
Look,
minute.
look,
He's like, let's see.
look. It might just be a coincidence, but it's
I don't
it's
think
it's,
it's
it's so funny that the people close to you, Johnny, like your close friends and even your
'Cause-
girlfriend,
'cause-
like they emphasize the phrase "let's see." So you should actually ask her if "let's see" like
Yeah.
She talked about Johnny's phrase with me, like the shut the fuck up thing, because he said like fuck up, like, and I was like, Johnny said something, and I was like, shut the fuck up. And Daniela was like, oh, so Johnny got it from you, and I was like, no, I got it from Johnny.
Yeah,
I got it from Johnny.
Actually, it's I get a lot of stuff from Johnny. No wait, yeah, I think I get reasonably a lot of stuff from Johnny too. Like sometimes not always good stuff. Like You can see how my texting
Uh,
texting patterns have changed like over time. It's usually not good stuff, yeah.
no.
But you know what we should do actually?
What?
Speaking of the topic of Spotify, let's make a Spotify playlist with the three of us because I already have one with Johnny.
Okay.
So we
I
can.
mean, but I think Johnny's biggest strength is he's so firm.
Okay, let's
You know,
let's name the Spotify playlist firm.
because I don't know about you, but he's so innerly firm. Like I don't think because it's maybe because Johnny's sometimes too shy to express his emotions. I don't
Yeah.
know because he's a baby boy. I don't know, but like so even though he's mad, sad, I don't know, but he looks like at least it looks like he's very firm innerly. Inside, very strong. That's what I think. It just feels like so.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel comfortable when I talk with Johnny. And I think just for me though, I'm not sure about everybody else, but compared with all the people I know, the firmest, like the ones who have the firmest inner self, is my grandpa and Johnny.
Johnny. Like unshakable.
On like yes, that's what I. Cause like, he deals like. I mean, you're right in front of me, but like you deal everything like it's like just nothing.
Yeah.
You're like, let's see if something bad happens. He's like,
Right,
let's see.
right.
And she's like, let's see.
Yeah, that's what
I mean.
That's
So
what I've always admired about Johnny.
So,
It's also like pneumothorax, for example. Like I don't know. I thought it was so like powerful. Like just Johnny being able to like just work hard to become rehabilitated and like go to prom, be present in like hanging out with us even, and then work all summer to like get
you
us
missed the
stuff
best
done.
part because one time nurse came in and he was like, it hurts a little, and nurse is like, how much out of 10? 1 to 10, scale of 1 to 10, and he was so cool. He was like 8, and like if you're 8, you should be like freaking out, and you're like 8. I don't know 8, and then he was like, it hurts. I just want to walk around a little bit, and he turns on a song and he just starts vibing. He's like, and I'm like, damn. Okay.
So
Okay.
funny.
Yeah, you missed the best part. That's like,
I think
and I'm like, look at this strong ass boy. This
strong.
this guy's like
very,
strong.
yeah, very proud.
Because like if I think of my future, I might flop. I might go like, but I don't think Johnny ever gonna go like,
He's gonna keep
right?
going.
He's gonna keep going. That's
Johnny, that's why I compare myself to you sometimes because because I feel like we have a lot of the similar goals. We have a lot of the same values, but the number one trait I look up to you in is like how you deal with like life situations. Always. So, because probably like more unfortunate stuff has happened to you than me. Like, I mean, obviously that's a broad statement, but I think I know you reasonably well for being your friend for a lot of years. So I think I can say that. And like your situations, like I don't know how you dealt with it inside, but from our conversations, it always felt like yes, you gave yourself the time to like acclimate and like deal with the situations emotionally, but in the end you still put your best foot forward and like still tried your best and kept going, and that inspires me. I think it inspires Steve too.
yeah. Let's stop this
it,
Johnny
it,
compliment
it just
talk.
became a Johnny
Let's
yeah.
Thank you.
and then okay. So that was a good talk.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we're not gonna have a Steve compliment talk next
Oh.
no, I'm just
We don't need that. We don't need that.
would compliment
But-
you though. I said a while ago that everyone needs a friend like
Yes,
Steve.
yes. That's one of the best compliments.
Okay, thank you. I mean, like, I don't know, but if somebody compliments me, I don't know how to act really. I'm just like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know what I'm
Let's-
saying?
That's a really
Let's just end off with this, I guess, because me, when someone complimented me before,
Mm.
my immediate response was, "Oh no, I mean it's not really like that, you know. It's yeah, no, it's like I'm not actually like this, you know. Or like I'm trying to deny it, you know.
Like
It's
listing reasons. I'm a
yeah, yeah,
horrible
yeah.
person.
Yeah, yeah.
I step on
Like
ants.
yeah, yeah. I'm not actually, and then
I smell.
and then and then like I think the best way, honestly, is just say thank you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like
And
I'm
think about it. Who does that? Johnny Wee. He said, like, thank you, thank you.
Johnny, say thank you.
Thank you. All right, all right, all right, all right.
Yeah,
Thank you for the episode, guys.
good episode, guys.
Mm.
All
So-
right.
It was a great episode, and I hope to see you guys next time.
Yeah, I hope to see you guys next time. Hopefully, our SEBD grows from average of 0 viewers to average.
It's not 0. It's like, I don't know. It's like 20.
All of that's from Cairo and Josh. But,
All right.
come on.
All right.
But you know, guys, one thing I'll leave it is that the three of us signed a contract for the first time we ever decided to do this podcast, that provided that we're still able to do the podcast, we're going to stay in the podcast. Yeah, we signed that contract.
You remember that, though.
Yeah.
Do you, Johnny?
I kinda.
Oh, I do too.
You do too? Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Man, jeez. Yeah.
I do too.
So we signed the contract, like even if we had like zero views, we'd still continue the podcast. And like I always thought of it as a joke, but like more just doing the podcast more, you realize that, you know what, it's fine if we have 0 views.
It's for us.
It's for us.
For us.
Yeah.
It's not.
So yeah. Well, that contract ticks, I guess.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, Steve, no.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
All right.
See you in the next episodes.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Bye bye.